What's up, y'all? Welcome to the On the Come Up podcast, where creative entrepreneurs share their come up journeys that turn their passions into success. I'm your host, Kimberly, so let's get started. What is up, guys? We are back with another episode. If you've been rocking with us since season 3, you'll remember our conversation with Corina Laila, an actor with hustle. But this time, it's not a repeat. It's a deeper dive, a continuation, and we're catching up in a whole new energy. We're here at Alamo City Studios in San Antonio, Texas. What's up, Corina? How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
Good. I feel like that was like the longest intro of life. Corina, so last time we spoke, I think I called you Layla, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. And so you have a stage name.
Yeah, I do have a stage name. So I pretty much go by Corina Laila as an actor name. My family and close friends call me Layla. Government people, like school, whatever, they would, like my teachers and stuff like that, work, they normally call me Corina. But yeah, when I'm auditioning, I go by Corina Laila. I don't use my last name, but yeah, I go by Corina Laila.
Yeah, I wish I would have. So I wish someone would have told me, like, hey, use your first name and add a little twist to it, you know?
Do you have a middle name?
Yeah, my middle name's Desiree. So, like, you know, you could have. I don't ever use my middle name, so I mean, I guess it would have been called Kimberly Desiree, but I don't know, that's weird. That's weird to me, but yeah, I go by my government name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but...
I don't know. The reason why I go by Corina Laila is just because my last name, it's very complex. So when you're looking at it on a piece of paper, it looks kind of foreign. So, you know, when you're looking at it for the first time, it's like, you know, like, it's like, how do you even pronounce it? Like, you know, you can't really, like, chop it up and, you know, pronounce it the way, you know, a regular American last name would be. But yeah, like, that's the reason why I primarily go by my first and my middle, is just because my last name, I've always had trouble, like, from kinder all the way to, you know, college. I still have trouble with my last name. People are always like, how do you pronounce it? Blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I mean, I'm proud of my last name. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I like how unique it is and whatnot. But I like utilizing my first and my middle.
What ethnicity are you?
So I'm a lot of things.
I thought you were Hispanic.
I am Hispanic. My mom's fully Hispanic. My dad is Hispanic and white. So my last name is Lazinski. But yeah, so my dad has Polish, has white, has Hispanic, has all of it. My mom, she's just primarily Hispanic. My mom's last name is Romero. Oh, so okay. Yeah, that's a little background.
So since we last spoke, what has changed for you creatively since then?
A lot has changed mindset wise. I would say I'm looking at the bigger picture now. So necessarily, I'm not looking at myself as a little character on the game board. I'm looking at the whole entire game board. You know, working in production, working behind the scenes and stuff like that. It's given me a better view of the whole film industry itself. So when I mean by bigger picture, I mean by the director, the actor, the sound producer, the people all behind the scenes. It's giving me like a better view and a better appreciation of the art itself.
Okay. Are there any like projects or auditions that change your perspective towards acting lately?
I like locally, or just pretty much anything?
Just in general.
Yeah, there was a film that was produced here, shot here. I believe it was called An Answer to My Prayer, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was filmed here, and it really just kind of I wasn't on the film. I heard about it from the back end on like my agency and stuff like that, my agent. But I really admired how the community came together and just kind of tried to showcase what San Antonio has to offer. Like, we kind of get overlooked, you know, from the bigger cities and stuff. But now I feel like San Antonio has been regrouping and has been kind of getting on the ball with things. But yeah, that film, for example, has been one of my kind of, I don't know, spotlights to where like I'm like, wow, like, you know, there's things that are coming here in San Antonio, in my city, you know, my hometown. I was born and raised here in San Antonio, so I want to see the city thrive. You know, I want to see the big productions coming here to the city, coming here to the studio and, you know, renting out here, and utilizing my friends here in Texas and stuff like that. But yeah, I like the community here and pretty much the ball that's rolling.
Yeah, it's kind of how it feels like, because I live in Fort Worth, but everyone's like, oh, she's from Dallas, right? I was like, no. Like, Dallas and Fort Worth are two different things, but everybody overlooks Fort Worth because everything is happening in Dallas. Yeah. But, yeah, it's like, but they filmed, have you heard of Landman? Oh, it's like have you heard of Yellowstone? Yes. It's like
Gotcha, okay.
I don't know, following, whatever you want to call it, to Yellowstone. So they filmed Landman like in Fort Worth. And so that was cool. Like, I actually saw them filming. I wasn't on set, but I saw them filming too. And so it's like...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like how there's more production that's coming here to Texas rather than Oklahoma or New Mexico or whatever, that they're trying to portray Texas scenes. You know, like, if you're wanting to showcase Texas, film in Texas, you know? Like, film right here where you have pretty much everything. And I'm glad that, you know, these bills are passing and we're getting funding and, you know, the ball is rolling, you know, recently, for Texas. Right? Yeah, for Texas incentives. But yeah, I think it's awesome. I'm really excited for the film industry right now.
Same. I know. I can't wait to see what we all have in store. What are you unlearning or relearning about yourself as an actor?
I'm unlearning I'm trying my hardest not to say yes to everything. For a while, I kind of felt like I had to say yes to everything. Whether that's business, whether that's acting, whether that's family and friends, whether that's school. I felt like I have a big plate, so might as well utilize the whole entire space. You know, but sometimes that gets overwhelming. So I'm kind of trying to unlearn that a bit and trying to focus more on myself and trying to see how much can I handle at a daily basis and not get overwhelmed and, you know, finish my projects and not keep procrastinating. And, you know, because I feel like sometimes I have ADD and like I can't focus on one thing at a time, you know, like there's so much going on or whatnot. So yeah, I'm trying to unlearn that, trying my hardest not to say yes to everything. Like, it's okay to say no, you know, it's okay to pass on this project, you know, I'll catch the next one, you know, right. Or pass on this event, you know, like I have to study or whatever, you know. I'm trying to unlearn that, you know. But yeah.
Have you ever had like imposter syndrome after an audition?
Girl, yes.
Like, how do you move through it?
Imposter syndrome, I've gotten it like a good amount of times recently. And it's kind of because me taking on different responsibilities, leadership roles, and starting to teach, like kind of like something like this, like, you know, it gets me in a space to where like I'm like, whoa, like, am I supposed to be talking about, you know, my experience or whatever? Because I feel like sometimes I'm still learning. Well, I mean, I'm always learning, but like I still feel like, well, I still have a lot to learn, so I kind of don't feel like I have enough space to vocalize what I've learned or whatever, you know. That's like my imposter syndrome. Like I feel like I'm not ready yet to tell you what I've done or whatever, or teach people. Right. So yeah, I feel like the way I try to go around that is I try to just stay humble, stay grounded. I like to go on nature walks and I'm a firm believer in God. So I like to go and just talk to the universe, you know, talk to God, and just tell him how I'm feeling. I usually almost always see a cardinal, and my great grandpa passed away in 2016, and since then I've seen a cardinal pretty much almost every single day. I taught myself how to learn for their chirps, so their sounds. But yeah, I talk to God and I talk to my angels, and I tell them what stresses I have going on right now, and I just try to release that and just put that into the air, put that into the universe, and just try to keep striving for more, because in reality, I would love to be somebody's role model one day. I would love to have somebody look up to me and be like, well, Corina did it, or well, Laila did that, or, because it's hard, day-to-day things. It's hard with the responsibilities with the film industry, with, the expectations and whatnot. So yeah, I pretty much, that's my little my little rant.
Yeah, it's hard to, like, especially when you're on social media. I'm like, okay, I gotta get off, like, because I just see,
expectations, right?
And then it's a highlight reel, so people are gonna show you what they want to show you. And I mean, I don't disagree, so but it's like, all right, I need to get off for a second. Yeah. Would you consider ever, like, directing, producing, or is your heart, like, solely in front of the camera?
Yeah, dude, I would love to direct, produce, all of it. Like, I think since I've gotten a mix and, like, a feel of, like, post-production and behind the scenes and, not necessarily being the actor on set, so I feel like that has given me a different kind of love for the art itself. So I would love to, create my own series one day, or my own film, or, help produce someone's, But yeah, I would love to go down that road one day.
Yeah. If you could greenlight your own project right now, what would it be?
I would say, I would love to create my own TV series. I don't know. I honestly don't know what it would be about. I always say, like, my personal life would be a movie if I were to put it, all on paper and figure that out. Maybe later on down the road. But yeah, that's something in the back of my mind is.
Would you say, like, reality TV, or, like? No.
No.
Something like Disney Channel style?
Something like the Selena Quintanilla movie. Like, somebody that plays her and, it gradually shows her life and her experiences. That's something that I would love to do.
Okay. What advice do you think gets tossed around to actors that may not, like, serve everybody?
I guess it would go back to me on how I was telling you that I say yes to everything, I don't know if that gets passed around to every actor, like, you have to get experience, you have to blah, 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 blah. My personal advice would be, take your time, do your research, network with fellow actors, talk to your community, get involved in your community before you commit yourself to an agency, before you commit yourself to a free on-set project that you're going to be plastered on billboards everywhere, and you're not getting paid for it. I would say, just primarily do your research, like, talk to people. I think that was my best asset once I stepped foot in the film industry, is literally networking with people. Getting on set, talking to people, like, when you and I got on set, like, we hardly even talked, but we got each other's socials, and then after that we were like, all right, like, let's do something. But I feel like that is pretty much my best asset and my I guess my learning point on, the back end of things is literally to network, talk to people and do your research.
Yeah, the part where you're like, you don't have to say yes. I wish someone told me that when I started, because all I did was say yes.
Same.
And it was just, like, little silly stuff that she knows about it. Little silly stuff. I'm just like, why did we drive an hour to do these silly videos, like,
right,
you know, it's
yeah.
like, it didn't serve me any purpose.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I'm saying, you know, like, if somebody just starting out wants to just get some acting experiences and looks on Backstage or Facebook or whatever, and then there's like on-set experience, free or non-paid opportunity, blah blah blah, but you know your face is there, and you know there's a competitor later on the line, and you get represented, and then you can't audition for this competitor, you can't film for this competitor because you already did this one, and for the free opportunity, you know. So that's something that I've learned on the agency end, you know. That's something that I've soaked in on the back end for, you know, on like the casting directors and stuff like that. Like, what do they look for, and how can I try to fit myself a little bit better, you know, rather than just looking at things from an actor's lens, you know.
Like you said, do your research, because that's like top. That would help, you know. What's something you're trying to be more intentional about in this season of life?
I think it's just pretty much going back to watering me, you know, watering ourselves. I feel like mental health is a really big thing, especially, you know, with busy schedules like ours. I wear a lot of hats throughout the week, and just learning how to have that work-life balance, you know, and not necessarily drown in the busyness and the chaos, but, you know, still have that balance on, I can work and I can be a badass over here, but I can also relax and have a day off or whatever, and, you know, chill with my family and whatnot, you know. I feel like sometimes that gets in the way of things, and, you know, you kind of feel like you have to sacrifice things like that, you know, family time and whatnot, because you're going for your dreams, you're following your dreams, you know. And that's a huge thing with me, is I started to notice that my schedule has been getting very busy consistently, and so with that I don't have enough time to water myself, to make sure I'm okay, to make sure I'm fed, or I'm exercising, or I'm, you know. So I'm just trying to get in that habit of just making sure I'm okay at the end of the day.
I love that. So when you look back 10 years from now, what kind of roles do you want to be remembered by?
Well, I would love to be remembered by like a caring person. I love, when I was younger, I didn't necessarily feel like the big sister role was like important. But now that I'm older, I really do feel that way. I feel like my role as a big sister, like it plays huge in not just my life, but in my brother's life. It's just my little brother and I, so I only have one sibling, so I take him into consideration, you know, when I'm doing things, or when I'm portraying myself on social media or whatever, you know. Like, I think about him at the end of the day, because I do want him to look at me and be like, you know, that's my sister, like, you know. But yeah, like the big sister label, I really do feel like that is a huge part for me. And maybe like a go-getter. I love to hear, you know, like, oh, I love your hustle, or, you know, like you're such a hard worker, and blah, blah, blah. I see you, and blah, blah, blah. I love hearing that. Like, I love hearing, like, I'm proud of you. Like, I don't ever hear that. So when I do, it hits home, you know? But yeah, like, I would love to be known as like a go-getter, or a hard worker, or, you know, just a person that stride for her dreams, or, you know, like, followed her dreams to the best of her ability. Because, you know, what we do is not really the norm, you know? So when I was in school, you know, way back when, and I would tell people, oh, I want to be an actor, you know? It was kind of like overlooked, and it was kind of like, oh, you want to do what? But no, I want to be an actor, you know? And now that I have done things, I've been on commercials, I've been on print ads and whatever. I haven't done film yet, but, you know, eventually that's going to come. And I I just really do want to be remembered as, you know, the girl that didn't give up.
Yeah. Same, yeah. Okay, we're gonna play a little this or that acting edition.
Okay.
Character you relate to or total opposite?
Character I relate to.
TV series or feature film?
TV series.
Romantic or comedy?
Depends. I love a good laugh.
Yeah. Day shoots or overnight shoots?
Oof, day shoots, please.
Day shoots, I know. I've never been like on an overnight shoot, but I've been on set where it's like it didn't end till like 12 a.m.
Same. Yeah. There was one time I went up to like Dripping Springs, and we didn't end till like 12:30, 1 a.m. and had to drive back, and I'm like this in the dark. But yeah, it's cool. It's a new experience, you know. But yeah, I would much rather do a day shoot rather than an overnight.
Well, thank you for inviting me out here to Alamo City Studios.
Yes,
Corina, it was such a pleasure talking to you again for the second time. Deep diving. Thank you so much, and
yes,
I would love to come back. And
yes,
I love
please.
this space, and
I'm so glad that you liked it. Please come back whenever,
and let everybody know where they can find you.
Alrighty, you guys. Thank you guys so much for sharing your time with us. My name is Corina Laila. I'll be here at Alamo City Studios if you guys want to follow me on Instagram and all other platforms. Again, my name is Corina Laila.
Thank you guys. We will see y'all guys in 2 weeks. Bye.